What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming Without Parole. Sitting across from me this week and every week, he's always better than the book the movie's based on, Desra.
There's a book about me?
The introductions are actually getting worse week by week, but it's always a last-minute thing.
Yeah.
I never prepare ahead of time because that would involve preparation.
Well, actually, I mean, you do some work because my bigger introduction is, and sitting across from me is Brian Paul.
Yeah, that needs some work for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Hey. Des, so just a few weeks ago, we relaunched Gaming Without Parole. But even better than that, just a little while ago, we celebrated our 100th episode of Gaming Without Parole.
Oh my goodness, 100 episodes.
Oh my goodness, indeed. Craziness.
Yeah,
and it's very Macaulay Culkin of you.
I know.
Nice. So moving forward, we're going to do the exact same stuff we've been doing.
Pretty much.
That's tackling one PlayStation VR game a week, because that's how much work we're willing to put in.
Yeah, I mean, we were really unsure about changing the direction of Gaming Without Parole, but the masses have spoken. It seems that this is what you folks want, and this is what we want to do, so those two things add up to this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, there's no complaints on this side.
Yeah.
On the other side, who listens?
Oh, yeah. There's a few of you.
Des, what game are we going to talk about this week?
Today we're talking about, ready?
No.
Let me get it right first time.
Yeah?
Smashbox Arena.
Okay, so I've done a podcast, the Gamescast, where I screwed up the name many times over.
Yes.
I've screwed up like 3 times in a row without noticing, then finally noticed on the 3rd time.
Yeah.
I'm like, Smash Blood.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something about the combination of very generic kind of terms, Smashbox Arena, that it just kind of drops out of your brain.
Yeah, well, and it's the sounds. It's the SB Arena.
Yeah.
In 2 syllables, Arena. Everything, like, if you said it fast enough, you wouldn't even think to know which game we were talking about. I know, I'm sure a lot of people are like, catch it every single time. You know, some people are smarter than me.
Yeah.
But no, if I say Starblood at all this whole episode, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, it's not just you, and it's not just the Starblood thing. It's a fairly generic name, I gotta say.
Smashbox.
Yeah, it doesn't really describe the game very well either.
No.
I did not smash a single box.
No, they should have called it Dodgeball Guns.
Right?
Dodgeball Guns. I like it. We're calling it Dodgeball Guns.
For those of you who don't know what this is, Smashbox Arena is kind of a first-person dodgeball with guns.
Yep.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, you have guns instead of using your foot for a dodgeball.
Yep. You use your feet for dodgeball?
Oh, no, that's kickball. It's sports.
Yeah, so basically, you've got your 2 Move controllers, and this is Move controller dependent. You cannot use this with a DualShock 4. So,
right.
And, can we have this conversation? If you drop the coin for the PSVR, buy the Move controllers.
Well, I do understand where people are coming from, because the rumors are through the roof about new Move controllers. Like Move 2.0 or whatever other people are calling them, or VR Move controllers, where there's going to be an analog stick in the damn thing. And I get it. But they're always on sale somewhere. Right. Walmart had them for like $17 each a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
So I was like, just buy 7 of them.
Right, and you can't buy a rumor right now. And if you're not getting a Move controller, you are really missing the best experiences the PSVR has to offer.
Yeah, I would say 60 to 70% of games are better or necessary with the PlayStation Move controllers.
All right, soapbox moment away.
Yep.
Back to the game.
So 2 Move controllers.
Yes.
Your right Move controller can click turn you right, and your left Move controller can click turn you left. That takes a little while to get used to.
It takes a lot to get used to.
Because I'm always touching the bottom 2 face buttons on each one, and always thinking the right one will turn me right and the left one will turn me left. But it's just right and left.
Yeah, it seems very natural to do that, but it takes a little while to kind of get your brain used to that. And that's really important, because the only other way to move around in this game is to fire a little teleport platform.
Yeah. You
shoot that, it drops, and after a 2 or 3 second delay, you appear where it landed.
And if you can get the timing down on that, if you can figure out how many 2 or 3 seconds it is, if you get ready to say 1, 2, teleport, or 1, 2, 3, teleport, then like you can strategize better, because you need to know how much time you have before you blink to somewhere else.
And because when you do teleport, you end up facing the direction you were when you launched. Many times you'll teleport facing a wall, which in a 3 versus 3 PvP game is a problem.
Yeah, so it's also part of the strategy, though. So
exactly.
So if you're trying to like use that little, I call it a top because it looks like a little spinny top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Throw the top behind somebody, and then you start turning before you teleport. You can usually be facing that person by the time you're done teleporting.
Right.
It's very strategic, and don't think that us using the word teleporting is a bad thing in this game, because it's really not. It took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that this is actually a brilliant way of playing this game.
Yeah. And just to, not to put too fine a point on it, but it is more like dodgeball than a traditional shooter, because you don't have ammunition for your guns. Basically, at the beginning of the round, 3, 2, 1, and all the balls kind of drop from the ceiling. These kind of glowing energy balls. You basically pick one up with your gun, and then you can shoot it. And where the dodgeball part comes in, if you have one loaded in your gun, you can use it to block somebody else's shot. There are also power-ups throughout the levels. There's a sniper rifle. Mm-hmm. There is a homing missile, a fireball, and a big old Indiana Jones style rock.
And a shield.
Oh yeah. See, you know what? I never use the shield, because it just all it does is like use up one of your guns. And
I totally heard. In fact, it took a long time for me to use any power-ups at all, because there's so many things to be worried about in this game.
Yeah.
You start up and it takes. I really think it took me hours to really feel natural in this game, because you're concerned about click turning, you're concerned about actually turning. Mm-hmm. It's not just dodgeball, because you're using dodge balls,
right?
But you can dodge the balls coming at you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the number one thing I forget constantly, is that you can actually, you're in VR in like real space, so you can move out of the way of incoming projectiles. Yeah. So you're doing all of this stuff, and teleporting, and click turning, and turning around, and shooting, by the way, your opponents. And okay. And so there's always, when the power-ups are like littered around the environment, it's so easy to just be like, you know what, I'm not using that, because I've got too much stuff on the brain to try to like work in something else right now. Yeah. But when you get used to them, holy crap, it's like a game changer.
Yeah, I would say, especially like the sniper rifle one. That was one I first started playing. I'm so like, why? This is awful. Why am I going to use that? But eventually you realize, not only does it zoom in, which is important, but that's part. It's like, I don't care about making them bigger. They're not that far away in the first place. What it does do is the physics of the dodgeballs follow relatively normal physics. So you fire it has an arc. With the sniper rifle, it's just a straight shot.
Yeah.
But you point, you aim.
If that person's still there, they're done.
Yeah, so it's a huge. I mean, you don't even the zooming part. You could probably even do without. Just the fact that you point, click, it shoots directly there is huge.
Now, there's even more to how this game works than what we're describing. The fundamentals are simple. It is 3v3, as you mentioned, and there's an orange team and a blue team. Now, the fun part is that you can. There's always like this 1 minute, I think, where it's like you wait for players to join your game, but you're just kind of teleporting around the environment, goofing off, throwing dodgeballs at each other's faces, just messing around. But there are 2 boxes on the ground where one's orange and one's blue. So if you choose to, if you choose to stay out of those boxes, the AI or the PlayStation will just assign you to a team. And if you choose to stand in one of those boxes, then you're going to be assigned to that team. Now, this brought back horrible. I don't know if it did this for you too, but man, horrible memories of like middle school and junior high, where you're like, teacher, I don't want to play at all.
Yeah,
I don't want to be on anyone's team.
Yeah,
because the first few rounds I play of this game, no matter I've played now hundreds of rounds of this game, but the first few rounds on any given day, I always suck. Right? I always suck. I'm like the worst player on the team every single time, which is made even worse by the gigantic scoreboard that's like projected on the wall during the game. So you can always just kind of glance up and see how you're doing compared to everyone else, which is a bad idea because you get killed. But it's there in big letters, so I can see that would be Dark has like 1 kill, and everyone else on my team has like 6 or 9 or something. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm dragging my whole team down, which is why I hate online competitive multiplayer shooters, because I'm the guy on Team Deathmatch that loses the round for everybody. I hate it.
Just say you're a bot.
I want to be. That's why online I always do free for alls.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on a team.
Right.
So this little box where you stand in to get chosen for your team, like it's like a little bit of a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm petrified. I stand outside the box because I just, maybe played that first game with the team and they're all looking at me going, "We don't want you. We don't want you. We don't think you're very good, sir. Why don't you get in the other box?" No. And I just stand there and I go, like, and I look at one team and they're like, and the other team's like, "Okay, come on." And I'm like, man, it's just the worst thing ever. And then I kick some ass and prove how good I am at this game.
Yeah, and I will have to say, like, we made it clear in the past, or let's say hesitance to play online games because, I don't want to get yelled at by 12-year-olds. But, maybe it's because it's the PSVR and because the audience is a little more mature, let's say, or whatever it is. Online gaming with the PSVR is a very different animal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's not really as obnoxious. I mean, we earlier, a couple weeks ago, we did kind of a group thing with some other YouTubers. And it was a blast, actually.
Yeah.
Once we got it figured out.
Yeah.
That is one thing. I mean, this is an animal. Yes, there is a solo play. I guess you could call it a campaign if you really want to stretch. But it's basically just the online levels, and you just play them over and over again with slightly harder bots each time. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that easy mode on story mode is just, I mean, it's so dumbed down that, like, you're obviously going to win, and it sort of drags the story mode down or the campaign mode down because you have to get through like every single arena knowing full well that you're going to win, and it just takes on easy mode. Oh, really?
I had some issues.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well then I take it back. For me, it was kind of a snooze fest, and the difficulty does definitely ramp up as soon as you get to normal.
Yeah, I found there was a huge difference in difficulty.
Yeah,
like I think part of it was Brian has played a lot more online than I had.
Only since VR has come around.
Right. Well, I mean, with the this game specifically. Whereas I played
Star Mash,
dodgeball.
Yeah.
But I played that round we did with the other YouTubers, and then pretty much just went straight to single player.
Okay.
So I didn't have quite as much experience, but the easy is pretty easy. But there's a pretty steep jump in difficulty through the different levels. But that's all in service of saying this is an animal that lives online.
Yeah. Don't buy this if you're a single player gamer or if you're not willing to step outside of that box.
Yeah. That being said, one of the things we want to do with games is I want to play with my friends. It's not that easy to set up a game with just your friends on this.
It's almost impossible, actually.
Yeah. There isn't a place where you can set up your own server or an invitation only server or anything like that. You jump into the multiplayer, you pick your region, or as what I do is, okay, I'm in the U.S. Northeast. Oh, there's 3 people playing. Okay, let's see what people in Japan are doing right now. And then you basically just look around lobbies and hope to see names you can recognize.
Yeah, it's right now. I mean, luckily these guys are great. Big Box VR and Archaeact. Archaeact?
Yeah, sounds right.
These
if
guys.
If it's not, you'll let us know, right?
I'm sure they will. They have been very good at supporting this game since launch. I played the most recent update, and it really, because when it first came out, there were definitely some frame rate issues, which really we're lucky we weren't feeling too sick, because when you have frame rate issues in VR, you can definitely get some motion sickness. But even then, it wasn't a problem. But with version 1.02, probably dating this episode now, it smoothed out a lot of things. It's still not perfect, but I had constant games for hours going with 3v3 real people, not bots, and there was no lag, there was no real frame rate issues. It's just a solid gameplay experience.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is this is actually, it's a latecomer to PSVR. It's been around on Oculus and Vive for a little bit now. In fact, actually, this kind of blew me away. There is actually an esports competition specifically for Smashbox Arena on the Oculus and Vive. It's actually a full-on professional players. They said there's something like 20,000 kills have been ringed out. No, wow. 20 million, I think they said. Yeah, so it's a pretty hardcore environment. Right now, that hasn't quite made it to PSVR yet. We're still kind of, unless you go in the evening, if you just try to pick up a game during the day, there's not a whole lot of people around.
Well, things have changed recently, my friend,
okay.
because as most of us know, we are adamant supporters of PlayStation VR multiplayer.
Yes,
and we
that's right. Yes,
yep. We've got a pretty good community with the Without Parole Game Cats. You can join our community on the PlayStation 4 Communities app or the it's not called the cross media bar anymore. What the hell is it called on PS4? The home screen.
Yep.
So you can join our Without Parole Game Cats community, but also just know that we are putting out a monthly schedule for when people are playing different games, because we do have a pretty small community.
Yep.
Only less than 2 million PlayStation VR headsets have been sold. So we have to. Every time a new multiplayer game comes out, what that does is fragment the community. People go, oh, I was playing Starboard, now I'm going to go play Smashbox. And so all those people, like suddenly 90% of the people just went over here, and then there's 10% of people playing Starboard. So what we're trying to do is take all the multiplayer games and give them designated days of the week so you can play. And already we're finding great success.
Awesome.
Like I said, I played Smashbox for like 2 hours today, and I had full teams the whole time.
Awesome.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, and for those of you who are out there saying, well, who do we think we are making a schedule for everyone? We're just people who said, hey, you know what? We want to play this game with other people. Does this sound like a good idea? If anyone out there has a better idea, by all means, we don't want to be in charge of things. We just want to play these games.
We just want to facilitate things.
Yeah, and so, it sounds like a fantastic idea. Just say, hey, I want to be here this day playing this. Come join.
Yeah, no, the only reason we made a multiplayer calendar, was because you asked us to.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make a calendar for the whole world, but apparently we definitely contributed to that. So we're very, very happy that we're all playing together again.
And that kind of brings me back to like my biggest feeling about this game is this game reminds me nothing more of like just getting together with friends after school and playing a game.
Yeah.
Not a video game, not, but like, okay, what do you guys want to do? Oh, I want to play this game. Maybe it's because it has the dodgeball feel to it or what have you, but it really makes me think back and remember, all right, well, what is a game supposed to be for? Yeah. Right? What's the point of a game? Well, this kind of game is just, I'm going to get together with some friends and we're going to just run around in somebody's backyard and throw balls at each other.
I mean, and that is pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that there is a lot more strategy to this than just that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Don't let me, I'm not trying to misplay it. There is actually some deep strategy, which is really hidden by the graphics and the style.
You know what? Let's take a step back for a second. Then let's discuss the graphics a little bit.
The ginormous head floating elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, the footage has been playing this whole time, and if you ever watched PlayStation VR Theater, then you'll know.
Theater.
This is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Not even my show, damn it.
Where were you on Monday nights at midnight? So
sleeping.
Yeah, no, lucky you. So we watched this on PlayStation VR Theater, and it was we were all like horribly disappointed. Mm-hmm. We were like, kind of making fun of it, being like, this looks just awful.
Yeah.
And honestly, as much fun as I have playing it, it kind of looks just awful.
Yeah, it's definitely like I was telling Brian the other day, like, this is the game. It's really hard for me to sit down and decide to play, because it looks terrible. And I'm looking at, I've got all these other really cool games. I've got other games we'll talk about later that I could be playing. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to try it. We're going to talk about it for the show. But the second I start playing, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a blast. I forgot. Yeah. Because the graphical style, maybe it's charming to some people, but the good news is the graphics aren't what's important about this game. The gameplay leads and the developers have definitely followed through with that.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is if this is a limitation of the art designers of this game, or if this is a limitation of, hey, we're gonna have 6 people in this arena simultaneously. We need to make sure that there's no lag, that we're not trying to transfer high resolution textures when it's unnecessary to make the game fun. I mean, Starboard does it and it's fantastic, so whatever. But that's not the point. Yeah,
it's weird though, because you've got the kind of the floating head bodies, but then you look at the models of the guns. So those are really finely detailed and well put together. So it's a little confusing.
But about those guns, the tracking of the move controllers in this game is just ridiculously good. You have these in your hand, and you feel like they're in your hand, and it all just works. There's like the slight vibration in the Move controllers themselves. It all just comes together, and it's great. So you will forget about the graphical style very quickly.
Yeah.
And the addictive nature of this game, it's fun. It's what I always hate about multiplayer games is the amount of time the game pulls you out between either sessions or after you die. But the rounds don't last very long.
No.
They only last as long as it takes for people to shoot a ball at each other's face, which is a mere minutes. So as long as you're not the first one out, speaking of which, then you don't. There's not much waiting around at all. And unlike Starblood Arena, which you all get together for a game, and then after the game,
you're all done.
Yeah, you're all done. You have to go find each other again, or go back into the multiplayer lobby and hopefully play again. This one just brings you on to the next match, and then brings you on to the next match. But when you're dead, there's a very cool thing you can do. Would you like to tell us?
Well, if we're thinking the same thing, you basically sit there and observe the entire thing, for sort of like, God's almost like tethered perspective.
Oh yeah,
sort of God mode. You can watch the whole thing going on. It was funny earlier, you were talking about like people forgetting they can dodge. That's one of my favorite things, is just watching that. You have two people just standing there shooting at each other, and like neither of them are actually moving out of the way.
Yeah,
and it's funny to watch, but then you realize during the game that, oh yeah, I do that exact same thing.
Well, because when you are like face to face with somebody, like if I don't have a dodgeball in my hand, ready to shoot, like, and they do, then I freeze like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Like I just stare at them and wait, because once they shoot that ball, if you catch it, then you have it. They don't go out like dodgeball. But you catch it, and then suddenly they don't have any ammunition, and you can shoot it right back at them and hope they don't catch it.
But, of course, most of the time what happens is you're getting ready to catch it, and it just hits you in the face anyways.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's generally what happens.
Yeah. One thing my little Des nugget for this, for the people who have been playing this since it first came out on the other VR platforms, it was definitely had a much more of a dodgeball feel, because the glowing energy balls that we play with the PSVR were originally actually dodgeballs.
Oh, no way.
They were the, like, if you remember from middle school, like the bouncy balls with kind of like the grid pattern on the outside, that was what they were. And in fact, they actually had the audio of that cling sound when they actually hit stuff. And that's one thing, like, I know they probably tried to make it look all cool and futuristic by adding the glowing energy balls, but I kind of wish they stuck to that.
Yeah.
And there's a rumor, because as Brian said, these developers are very, very responsive, and they listen to the audience. There's a rumor those might be coming back.
It would be great for an option.
Yeah.
It'd be great to, before you start a game, have like a list of things, like all these different criteria that you want in or out of your game.
Right.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of the original dodgeballs.
I like the idea of the sound of the original dodgeballs. I think that's a sound that everybody's very familiar with, because it's echoing through my head as it hits me.
I was going to say, or just give everyone like little post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. So I think that probably brings us to that time of the show again, where we have to rate this sucker.
Oh, that time.
Yeah, not sexy time. No, that's after the camera's off. So we use three, count them, 1, 2, 3, forms of criteria. No, that's not it.
Well, basically 3 ratings. Number 1, oh my God, you need to buy this right now. Just drop what you're doing. If you have a PSVR, there's no reason not to own this. 2, you can wait on it. Wait till it's on sale. Maybe it's not for everybody, but yeah, sure, why not? And 3, friends don't let friends buy crap. These people should be punished, not rewarded for releasing things like this. Do not buy this.
So this game is $29.99.
$29.99. Yeah.
I know that the response of on my first video that I put out about my first impressions of this, a lot of the game cats, a lot of the viewers were like, $30 is way too much for this. And that's definitely what I thought before I played it.
Yeah.
In my book now, like, as long as they keep supporting this game, as long as they keep right now we have a decent number of arenas. I feel like the online community is actually building instead of receding. Right now, I think this is absolutely worth $30, and it's one of my most played games this month.
Wow!
So for me, it's no questions asked. Buy it.
So I'm a little less on fire about this. I really enjoy the times I do play it, but I will say I'm going to put a caveat. I'm going to say a 2, but only because of this. If you're not interested in multiplayer gaming,
Yeah.
then this is not for you. Then this is a meh. If you want to play multiplayer gaming, if you want to get online with other people, then oh my god, yes, you need to get this. So I'm kind of, let's call me a 1.5 on this. I'm gonna weasel my way out.
Okay.
If you want to play games with other people, if you want to play games with Brian and I, this is one game on the calendar you'll find at least one of us playing. Absolutely pick this up. If you're not interested in online multiplayer, there's really nothing there for the single player campaign. So
there's really not. But I just want to throw one little side note out there. If this is the first episode of Gaming Without Parole you've watched, or if you're just not familiar with the channel and this is the first time you've heard me talk about video games, then I can't imagine why you're still watching. But mostly, my nature, my video game caricature. I'm just making up words now. Caricature. That's not it at all. But what I am is not a multiplayer gamer. I've never liked competitive games, especially online competitive multiplayer, anything. And then something clicked in me when PlayStation VR came around, and I think Starblood. No, I meant to say that.
Yeah.
Was the catalyst for all of this. It's like suddenly being online and talking to other people. You can talk to other people or you can choose not to, but it just starts to feel very right with a VR headset on. And somehow it's very comforting, and being in a different world is suddenly not an isolated experience. Suddenly you're in another world with a lot of other people. And for a guy who genuinely despised multiplayer games for all of his life, the last 10 months has been multiplayer game central. So if you're going to try a multiplayer game in VR, this is the one I recommend you start with.
Yeah, I could back that up. I think, just to kind of piggyback onto that, I think part of it is the audience. We're with just a more mature group. I mean, the rules say, or the recommendations are 12 and 12 and up. Right. Of course, there's kids who are playing too, but
a lot of those kids though are supervised by their parents. I've seen a lot of comments by parents saying, "I let my kids play for 30 minutes a day maximum."
Yeah, but the point being, partially the audience and partially too, I think the fact that your avatar or how your character model, whatever you want to call it, in the VR world is moving and acting like a real person, or how you are, it's moving its hands and heads the way you are. There's more of a sense of realness to the person, so there's more of a sense of treating them like a real person. Whereas, someone who's on Call of Duty just, cussing you out over the microphone, they're not treating you as a real person. They don't see you as a real person. They just see you as a name they can shit all over. Yeah. Whereas in VR games like this, there's just enough, much more. Try that again. There's just enough personality that comes out in the avatar where you're starting to treat people like people. You're seeing them, and if you're doing the audio, you're hearing them, and there's a little bit more respect there. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little naive, but it just seems to be the case in the multiplayer experiences I've had. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. When you add the head movement along with the hand movement, and you see these things happening as people are doing it, there's a person behind that, and it's hard to deny that. Yeah. Good. I like that quite a bit. Yeah. That's a good note to end on.
Cool.
That's it. That's Star Bash Arena.
Dodgeball guns.
Star Splasher.
Dodgeball guns.
Smash Blasters.
Dodgeball guns.
Blaster Master Arena.
Seriously, guys.
I love you guys.
Big box, version 1.03. Just rename it Dodgeball guns. That's what. I'll bump it up to a 1 with no reservations.
Guys, make sure in the comments you let us know how much you like this game or dislike it, and also let us know what games you'd like us to talk about in the future. Obviously, we are far away from launch titles at this point, so game on.
All right.
For Gaming Without Parole, I'm Brian Paul.
I'm Desra.
And we'll see you next week.